Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Josh, and this is your stimulus check update for the next stimulus package for Thursday, February 25th. I hope everyone is off to a good and safe start to their Thursday so far. In this video, I'll be discussing updates in regards to the current relief package and the third stimulus check. I'll also be discussing the $1,400 direct payments, the upcoming ruling on whether or not a minimum wage increase will be allowed in the bill, and then I'll be wrapping up this video by answering some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video. But first, if you wouldn't mind real quickly, liking this video, give me a big thumbs up. It really just helps with the YouTube algorithm in terms of pushing this video out to other viewers like you, and hopefully helping other people like you as well. Okay, so as the House Rules Committee looks to shore up the final version of the House bill today, we can expect for it to be voted on at some point tomorrow. In the new bill released yesterday, they ended up actually exceeding the $1.889 trillion cap that was set for the budget resolution, so at this point they'll need to remove just a little bit of spending. In total, it's estimated that they're around $11.75 billion over the cap. If they're unable to get this number lowered back down, then they'll be unable to pass this bill using the reconciliation process. However, this should not be much of an issue. Again, you can expect for them to make these changes by Friday, where the House will then be able to vote and pass it through their chamber. At this point, the biggest hurdle in getting this bill passed is still over the measure that would increase the minimum wage to $15 per hour. At the moment, that measure still remains in the House bill, where it is expected to pass, even though we haven't yet heard a ruling on whether or not it's eligible to remain under the Byrd Rule by the Senate parliamentarian. Now, it's possible that we get that ruling as soon as today, but let's wait and see. If it's ruled that they're unable to include the measure in the reconciliation bill, then Democrats will need to remove the provision, unless they think they can get the 60 votes in the Senate, which is incredibly unlikely. On the other hand, if in a surprising twist, the parliamentarian rules that they can include the minimum wage hike in the reconciliation bill, then we may have a problem on our hands. This is because, if it's allowed, we'll see some of the more moderate Democrats, such as Joe Manchin, John Tester, and Kyrsten Sinema, face off against the progressive ones in the Senate, such as Bernie Sanders, and what the minimum wage increase should be for. Obviously, there's a strong push by Democrats in general at the moment to increase the minimum wage to $15 per hour. If Manchin continues to block the measure for $15 per hour and instead insists for $11 per hour, we'll have to wait and see how willing the likes of Bernie Sanders are willing to compromise. This really goes to show, even though Democrats do have control of the Senate, with Kamala Harris as the tiebreaker, all it really takes is one senator to destroy their entire plan. Obviously, Manchin is going to face great pressure from the Democratic caucus, who will threaten to primary him in his next election if he doesn't go along with each of their agendas. Of course, Manchin is also a senator in one of the more conservative states in America, so it's not incredibly surprising that he's not fully on the left with most issues. At the moment, in Manchin's home state of West Virginia, the minimum wage is set to $11 per hour, so it makes sense that's what he'd like to see the federal minimum wage set to as well. So, of course, if the House passes the bill with an increase in the minimum wage to $15 per hour, and the Senate amends the bill to $11 per hour, along with any other changes in the bill, then they'll need to send the bill back to the House for a final vote. At that point, we'll have to see if the House is fine with the changes made, and remember, even though Democrats do have a majority in both chambers, it's not by much. It only takes a few Democrats to say they're not fine with the changes, vote no on the bill, which could cause it to fail. It's going to be essential that Nancy Pelosi in the House and Chuck Schumer in the Senate get all Democrats in their chamber on board with whatever plan they decide to go with. Being that their deadline to get this bill passed is still March 14th, which happens to be the same date in which the unemployment benefits are set to expire on, they'll have just 2.5 more weeks to get it done. This really isn't that far away, so they'll need to get moving quickly. Also, considering they'll need to get this bill passed a week before the 14th, just to ensure that states have ample time to make the necessary changes in their systems, they really only have around 1.5 weeks to get the bill signed into law. This also means, again, as far as the timeline goes for the third direct payment of $1,400, we should expect for them to begin going out around 1 week after the bill passes through. So, more than likely, we're looking at receiving the next stimulus payment in the range of March 18th through March 22nd. In the meantime, all we can continue to do, as always, is hang in there, stay strong, and hope for the best. Okay, so at this point in time, I'm going to move right along to answering some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video. And if you do have any other comments or questions for me, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I do try to answer as many of the comments and questions as I possibly can, but for those comments and questions I'm not able to respond to, I do try to pick some of the more popular ones to answer in the next video in video form. Okay, so without further ado, let me go ahead and jump into the first comment of this video, which is from Brian. Brian says, "Hey Josh, what about evictions?" Okay, thank you so much for your question, Brian. And at the moment, there is an eviction moratorium issued by the CDC, which places a temporary halt in residential evictions. Also, in the finalized reconciliation bill, it is expected that the eviction moratorium will be extended for another 6 months through September of this year. By the time July or August rolls around, it wouldn't overly surprise me if they decide to extend the moratorium once again through the end of this year. Let's wait and see. Okay, moving along to the next comment video, which is from Becky. Becky says, "How do I get a hold of the payment portal to update my banking information? I need to change it so I can get the next stimulus check. Thank you for all of your updates. You're doing a great job." Okay, thank you so much for your question, and unfortunately, at this point in time, people are unable to update their banking information. However, once they pass the next bill, it is my hope that the IRS once again gives everyone a chance to update their information through the payment portal. Considering it's almost been 1 year since people were last able to update their information, many people have since changed banks. So it would seem only logical to allow everyone a chance to do so. If they don't, unfortunately, if you change banks since receiving the first or second direct payment, then you'll more than likely end up receiving a check in the mail instead. This is because the IRS is going to attempt sending the payment to your old bank account, which the bank is obviously going to reject since it's a closed account. From there, the bank will send the payment back to the IRS, where they'll reprocess your payment and then send you a check in the mail instead. Obviously, this is going to take a longer period of time for you to receive your payment in this form. Now, one thing you could try doing is to quickly file your tax returns this year, adding your new bank account as the one receiving the tax refund. If the IRS processes your tax returns early enough, this should be the new account in which you'll be receiving the next payment in. Alright, moving right along to the next comment video, which is from Zaheda. Zaheda says, "I'm on SSI and my husband adds me to his taxes. Am I still going to get the $1,400? Okay, thank you so much for your question, and yes, you should still be receiving the next direct payment of $1,400. In this case, spouses are not able to claim each other as dependents on their tax returns, whether they maintain residency with each other or not. So, in this case, if you and your husband file a joint tax return, you should be receiving a combined payment of $2,800. If you have dependent children, you'll be receiving an additional $1,400 on top of that per child. Also, with the increased child tax credit, you'll be receiving an additional $250 per month for your children ages 6 to 17 and $300 per month for your children under the age of 6. Okay, moving right along to the next comment video, which is from Perry. Perry says, "Josh, how does a baby born in 2020 get added to the stimulus list?" Alright, thank you so much for your question, Perry. And if someone has a newborn in 2020, then they'll need to claim the direct payments they should have received as a recovery rebate credit on the tax returns they filed this year. So if you had a newborn this year, you can claim a recovery rebate credit of $1,100. This is the combined amount that you should have received for your new dependent from the first two direct payments. Once you do this, the IRS will then be aware of your new dependent, so you should receive the next direct payment of $1,400 for your dependent automatically. Just to ensure that you receive the next payment quickly, I would recommend that you file your tax returns as soon as you possibly can. This will also ensure that you'll begin receiving the monthly child tax credit payments, which are set to begin in July if this reconciliation package goes through. Alright, so on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you did enjoy the content in this video and you'd like to see more videos like it, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. It is completely free to do so, and it's a great support to me. Also, if you'd like to receive 4 free socks from Weeble, with 2 of them valued all the way up to $1,600 each, or 1 free sock from Robinhood, just for signing up and linking your bank account, please feel free to claim those free stocks by clicking the link in the description box below. And finally, if you join Rakuten with my referral link in the description box below and spend at least $20, Rakuten will give you $20 cash back. This means that you can buy an item through Rakuten with one of their referral links, such as Nike, for $20, and Rakuten will give you $20 just for making that purchase. This is just an incredible deal that we'd love for everyone to take advantage of. Okay, so until next time, I'll see you guys, and I hope you have a great day today.